weather experience with you wherever you are. Count on Local 3 Chief Meteorologist David Carnes and the Storm Alert team.
Summer is for camp at Reflection Riding. Register your child today.
Don't you love it when people come your way and all they want to do is give you some advice to make your life a little bit easier? That is what Todd Cooper is doing for us this morning. He has structural solutions. He can help you with anything really structural with your home if you own one. But you've kind of got a message for people who are in the market to buy.
Yes.
Is that right?
We do.
Home inspection, home inspection, home inspection?
Yes. We, what we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years with the housing, shortage and the people really coming here overpaying for homes or, bidding these homes up. They're going in and buying with no inspections, no appraisal. And then a few years later when they have to sell the house, they're coming, our floor is a little, soft here, and then we come look at it and it's maybe half the floor system's rotted. Did you have a home inspection? Well, no, we had to get the house and,
Yeah.
They just, there's steps to going about buying a home.
Right.
And it's, if you prepare for a test but you don't study, you miss that step and you make a bad grade, there's a reason for that.
Right.
So as we're buying a home, we want to look at the steps of, we want a home inspection. We want to choose our own home inspector. We do not really want to use a realtor that tells you, use this guy. He's my buddy, I know him.
Right.
Go online and do your research.
So, okay, you've said quite a few things. One, I know we'll talk about what you do at Structural Solutions, but the reason he can speak to this so well is the name says it all. What you do is literally the structural work. So you're seeing it all the time, which leads you then to want to give this advice to people. Yeah,
because it's not, when it's, when you're looking, the home is the largest investment of a lot of these people, especially these first-time home buyers. And they're naive, and sometimes it's not a bad decision, it's something they just don't know. And so we try to educate people. We've been in business for 39 years, since July of 1985, so we've done this a long time.
Right.
We want to help people now to avoid these pitfalls of coming and seeing us 2 years later, and it's $50,000 you got to spend on your house.
Well, and we live in a world now where it seems to be harder and harder to find quality sometimes.
It is.
And we don't always know the things that you know. So, okay, you mentioned make sure that you do get the home inspection. Is it sometimes a good idea, if you've got the money to budget for it, to even get two to compare?
Well, I think if you can go through the reviews, the Google reviews of home inspectors, and people, the old saying, if somebody does a good job for you, you may tell one person. If somebody does a bad job, you're going to tell everybody. So if you go look at the reviews for home inspectors, you're probably going to find a good home inspector. Choose that person. Don't let somebody tell you one person. And then if the home inspector comes up in the inspection and says, hey, you really need a structural engineer to look at this floor system because I see these things going on. Don't disregard that. Do that. Just like if they say the panel box, having a licensed electrician come look at this because it's got problems, do that because it can save you thousands of dollars in the end.
So if you are, let's say you were going to sell a home and you know it has some problems going in, but you want to sell it honestly. Can somebody ever contact you and have you come out and do that very same thing?
They can, and a lot of people do that. Some people will go to sell their house. We did a house in Cleveland. The guy was selling his house, and he knew he had some issues in the floor, and he actually paid us to fix it. And then he disclosed it. So in real estate, when you sell, problems, there's disclosure sheets you have to fill out.
That's right.
The problem is that's kind of, it could be a gray area to where, well, we didn't know about that. Well, then you're trying to figure out how did they know it? Did they know? Because there's a lot of issues, lawsuits in construction right now with people that bought a house, a year they find out they've got all these problems, and then it was disclosed on a previous listing that they had these issues, but they didn't sell the house, so then they go to sell it again and they didn't disclose it. And I mean, have professionals look at what you're buying
and know the names of the people who are in your care or whose care you are in.
Yes,
to make sure they're reputable.
Yes.
When it does come to, you mentioned like HVAC systems, if they recommend getting an electrician, don't not take that to heart. Spend the money up front.
Do that. You need to have those other inspections done. And here's another thing, because a lot of people get emotionally charged in these transactions, and we've got to have it. If you have to extend your inspection period, because it's running out tomorrow. Can you come hurry up and look at this? Well, I can't get there till Monday. Well, they don't want to extend it. Then don't buy it.
Right.
If they don't want to extend it, why don't they want to extend it?
Also, I'm hearing from realtors in town that the days of this pressure of I've got to get my offer in and get it accepted have really kind of come and gone. We're not in that time frame anymore.
It has slowed down. Here's the problem. 3 years ago, people bought the houses with no inspections. Now people that are buying the houses now, they're getting inspections. So you bought the house, you didn't have an inspection, there's problems that you don't know about the house. Now the new inspector comes up with a laundry list of problems, and then the buyer's asking you as the seller to pay for these things.
Oh, so the people who bought in those COVID years and are now trying to sell are the ones getting
now
caught.
They're getting inspected.
I gotcha.
And that's what we are seeing a lot. And I can give you examples just in the last few months where we've replaced, 81 floor joists in a house. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And it's 6 years old.
So if you are falling in love with a house, and this is not to say there's anything wrong with any time period of home, you can
Yes.
have a brand new build and it'll be great. But if you are falling in love with a house that might be 80 years old, don't not consider it?
I would have an inspection on any house, even a brand new house that you just had built. I'd have an inspector come in and inspect that.
Well, how do they contact you?
They can call us at 718-4844, or you can go online to structuralsolutionstn, like Tennessee.com, and they can contact us through that, and we do any kind of structural repairs. We also do, we'll come look at a house if you've got a problem, or an inspector wants you to look at the floor system. We come out for free, and we will look at it for you, and we can give you an estimate, a free estimate on that.
39 years, raised his family here. His kids are all doing great, and he wants the same for your family, so he'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you so much.
For over 44 years now.